Welcome to QWA Unfolding Narrative, the show that sequences the train of thought of our architecture design. I am Qhawarizmi Hisham, and today we're going to talk about our competition entry for urban public space below highway design competition at Butterworth Outer Ring Road. And this competition is organized by Think City Institute of Landscape Architects Malaysia, ILAM. The site feature a space under a highway, is fairly unused, and it's directly fronted Penang Central. It is just across the toll plaza of BORR, Butterworth Outer Ring Road. And the site has different composition. On the north, there is a hotel and a secondary school, and on the south, Penang Central that cater for bus, train, and also ferry transportation to the main Penang Island. The site has been segmented into three portions, which is portion A, B, and C, and there is a series of traffic lights to mitigate traffic coming down from BORR to go to Penang Central or Butterworth on the north. This is how it looks. So with this preset, we begin our proposal. We've been taking away tusk, horn, and any other animal ivory products as a method to gain or obtain natural polymers. And this natural polymers has been used as material for consumer products. And since then, 100 years ago, we managed to formulate a synthetic polymers. The story of King Midas actually reflect the time that we are in. King Midas loved gold to the point where everything that he touched turned into gold. Eventually, he becomes sad because he cannot eat and enjoy the things that actually not made of gold. He then realized that most of the thing that he actually loved or enjoyed is not gold. To one moment of time, his daughter tried to console him, and he touched his daughter, and eventually his daughter herself become gold. This is a great reflection of what we are today, as plastic or synthetic polymer has been used for everything, and they are everywhere. We love plastic so much because it's cheap, it's sterile, easy to form, to the point where everything that we touch turns into plastic, or everything that we want to touch is made of plastic. So it could go up as high as a smartphone, even our cars. There's a lot of plastics in our cars, in our home, and our money. Even that amount of plastic consumption is actually only account for 10% of amount of plastic produced. 90% of them is still single-use plastic. Water bottles, plastic fork, stuff like that. And when we are done with them, obviously they are not made for repetitive application. They will be just thrown away. So we're going to say bye to them. But the thing is, when things are produced, they just don't disappear. They will be, hoarding up somewhere, and it ended up somewhere. And the plastic that you throw away most likely will going to end up in the ocean, which is the world's largest garbage bin. I mean, there's no other way that the plastic could end up, and eventually all this maritime fauna or flora even will get affected. And Malaysia is uniquely positioned as one of the top 10 countries that actually contribute to this problem. And obviously, this in part is is contributed to the amount of coastal length or the geographical positioning of Malaysia. But of course, that is not an excuse. And as China has closed its border for global plastic waste importing, Malaysia has been seen as one of the top destinations to actually divert all this garbage exported by all these first world countries. And this is, fairly conservative number. There is 114 legal plastic plants that actually try to recycle and basically make, recycled pellet out of them. But obviously, this number is very conservative. At this moment of time, 2020, there should be at least 1,000 illegal plants. And these illegal plants is actually has two tactics. These illegal plants do not actually process the plastic waste to be a reusable pellet, but they deploy these two tactics, which is first stockpiling, and second is to burn them. So stockpiling has been a popular technique as the operator just lease a land, they can stockpile all these plastics and get commission on actually processing the waste. As time goes, all this material are going to be deteriorate over time. Well, certain extent of it, a percentage of it will. Or if there is too much of them to be handled, you can just burn them all, reducing them to this toxic pile of ash. And Malaysia actually domestically has been processing 1 million ton of garbage a year, and the amount of imports that they take in is actually more than 100%, and 30% of those goes to sea. So you can see that why Malaysia's in a position where it contributes to the excessive garbage pollution. But this problem does not end there. Obviously, this is the thing that you can see with your naked eye, but there's a lot of small microplastics, out of this disintegration of the plastic matter, and eventually this microplastic, floats in the water. And as of 2015, there is already 51 trillion pieces of microplastics. This is fairly small. This is very intrusive. They are almost everywhere in our ocean right now. And this particular matter, microplastic, is sort of in the realm of the zooplankton, which they can, consume them or misconsume them as part of their diet. And eventually, this zooplankton will be eaten by fish, and before you know it, human has them as well. So this is some images of what kind of the possible human consumables that actually contain microplastic. Honey, surprise, surprise. Sea salt, obviously. Bottled water, and also tap water. So this is fairly disturbing. Yeah, it continues because, 8 out of 10 baby has trace of plastic additive. So it's not exclusive to adults that's actually has been consuming all this food all this while, but of course it is also penetrative to the point where babies will have them. And this is exactly mirrored the story of King Midas, which in the beginning, King Midas loved gold so much. As a reflection, we love plastic so much. Everything that we ever manufactured, we try to manufacture them with plastic. to the point where our child become plastic themselves. So it's weird, but the story doesn't end there. This story is even worse because not only our child has turned into plastic, we ourselves has this substantial amount of plastic additive. So obviously this is not good. There's a lot of other diseases, you know, prone to this external matter. You can get cancer more easily, you know, and then because this plastic additive is not soluble, it will still stay in our body for a very long time. That's the premise that we took upon when we start to think about our proposal. And this is the parameter. We have this, you know, the subsets of the context of industrial enclave, and we have this highway, which is obviously need a new life underneath it. The idea is to really be democratic and try to somehow design a kit that allow it to transform, allow it to be influenced by the people of Seberang Perai. Seberang Perai actually has diverse group of people. There is people that actually work in the government office, commuters, high schoolers or students, and also obviously tourists. So we need to somehow think about ways to mitigate and cater the needs. One way of doing that obviously is public engagement, and we can have them you know, prior to finalizing what the kit should be. The kit can be designed through visual means, so it's, you know, a bit more communicative, and we able to grasp the idea, the aspiration of the people. Yeah, there's a lot of way of doing it, and obviously we are up to it if there's a point where we have to populate the modules. So this exercise will provide design parameter that we can easily translate their input. And as you can see, Seberang Perai is actually an industrial area, which in turn has a lot of industrial byproduct, and, you know, obviously is supplemented by household waste and construction waste. This is the cast, the group that going to actually make this happen. So we're not going to introduce new material. We're not going to introduce expensive material. This is the things that's already there. We're just gonna reposition, you know, re-strategize where they should go. And the second part of this parameter, of course, we need to design a kit that is simple enough, transferable, mutatable, and of course, durable due to the fact that it is an outdoor installation. So we designed this frame, a simple frame with some notches to it, and we call it Rumah 12 frame. The frame is dimensionally stable. It has this 450 by 450 size, and the frame definitely is made of recycled plastic. The frame can be connected by screwing them. They work like a soft wood, and basically we can stack them and bundle them together to the point where it can create this structure. So the simple idea of a 2D frame creating a 3D cubic volume and eventually a whole structure is good to be open or to be flexible for future iteration or even modification as the project goes. And you can see on a larger scale when this cubic frame has been put up together, eventually it creates the whole dynamic structure that can host some programs that allow people to interact and engage with the space underneath the highway. To include the programs, the programs that will be inserted into the houses actually reflect the need of the people and, of course, their daily routine. This idea of having 12 rumah or 12 houses allow different range of people to be included so that the project could be inclusive, and it gives a second chance of life of this space under the highway. So the isometric, so you can see that the road intersection is fairly busy, and 12 houses has been scattered around the site with few clusters. And you can see the house took upon a specific theme that cater for a specific group of people. Eventually, as a collective, these 12 houses allow more people to enjoy, participate, and relate with the site. In a way, it provides a soft bridge in between the town of Seberang Perai as a transitional space to Penang Central. The idea was to create these houses to hold specific programs. So the first one is Rumah Ibu. It is basically the heart of the particular project, trying to be communicative of what the local council are doing. So this is where people actually can enjoy looking at their town, looking at the future development of the town, give feedbacks on things that they are up to do. And then there is some services like postal service, paying your assessment tax. There will be a kiosk there to host that, and basically you can give your suggestion if you have any. And second house, Rumah Laya, is where public screening will be held. Public lecture could be held there as well, as a point where people can share knowledge. Obviously, this is meant for an event, so we can have youth event or people that actually work on the site. So basically, there's a lot of Rohingya refugees as well around the site. This could be utilized as their point of interest. Rumah Minda is an answer to the cry for solitude, a bit of space for them to write and read, a bit of space for them to discuss and talk about books or poems. And the idea was to create an urban library which people can congregate, participate, share their thoughts with writings, and it is a safe space for public expression. The Rumah Nada is meant for buskers and people that actually have their love towards music, and it's good. People are able to interact, enjoy music, relax, take a break. Rumah Tani is sort of a simplified small greenhouse which feature compost bin, hydroponic, and few seedling. People are happy to contribute their time before and after they commute to actually nurture these plants, and these plants will be adopted by a secondary school nearby. And the idea was to impart some knowledge on food security and how they can actually do this at their own house. So few seedlings are also available, for them to take home and start their own farm. And Rumah Tinjau has a unique proposition to address the commercial part of the project. So obviously it serves as a landmark, and it will have this huge billboard. Obviously, we need some revenue to sustain other programs in the project. And the idea was to include this clock tower, which are visible from Penang Central. Rumah Kita is actually a place where this whole project started. This is one of the first facility need to be erected, as this house hosts all this range of recycling bin and the plastic frame maker, which actually works as with your community initiative. So you bring your plastic here, you know, after some certain amount of volume or weightage, you can melt that down into these frames, and this frame will be utilized to build more houses or more facilities. So it all starts here. People will start building other facilities from here. Rumah Kayu is for those, you know, cycling enthusiasts or, you know, commuters or high schoolers nearby. There will be some bikes for rent and a service bay. People can change their tires or add oil on the bicycle chain. And of course, there will be some bicycle for people to rent as well. Rumah tamu is a house of guests. So in Malaysia, it is fairly common to see motorcyclists taking shelter during the rain underneath an elevated highway. So there will be a point where those target users still be using this underbelly of a highway for that reason. So we might as well accommodate them. So there will be some space for locker for their belongings. So we expect them to, you know, store their belongings here and eventually venture to other 11 houses when it's rain, so they can have a break. They can pump their tires and, you know, keep themselves sheltered just to let the monsoon rain pass by. And Rumah Jaja is actually a shell that hosts at least two, okay, at least two food truck that actually can be deployed as in need. So if there is an event or is it like a weekend, people can actually enjoy some food and beverage opportunity by having these two trucks in there. So this truck actually allow a certain extent of flexibility. We can have the mobile police truck, or even a charity or organization, NGO that actually deal with homelessness. So we can have a multitude of programs depending on what kind of truck that able to, you know, park inside this house. And Rumah Tower is one of the most popular house in the project, I would say. It is meant for the youth, where there will be some games, okay, music, of course, and it will be hosted by this house, which you can enjoy playing darts, ping pong. There will be an organ, and of course, a small skateboarding ramp. So we think this underbelly of a highway should be very lively, should cater to a lot of people, especially people that coming from or to Penang Central. And Rumah Seni is an urban art gallery, and it feature obviously a class or a tutorial or a workshop for, you know, painting technique. People can enjoy photograph. People can enjoy painting, street art on the wall, and people are associating Penang with all these street art movements. So it is come full circle. And at the end of the day, all these 12 houses actually working together in unison to create a new village, an environment where people can enjoy, even though they are coming from different subsets of background. There's a lot on offer for everyone. The implementation will be framed as Do It Together project, which all this material, raw material, which is used plastic, will be collected together, dried, of course, clean and dried by the community. And basically, they will granulate the plastic into small pieces so that it can be processed further. These fragments will be put into these molding machines with heat and mold. It will come up as the frame that we have discussed earlier. So the molded plastic will be erected, combined together and erected as one of the houses. That's how we can do this. Eventually, we improve Penang Gateway image because it's obviously located in Penang Central. We have this new democratic public space. It can be ever changing as the community produce more frame. We can create, external. We can extend a certain houses. We can, create external elements as the community able to produce more frame. We can introduce more elements, urban furnitures using this frame, and then an extension of the houses. It is all possible. And the local authority managed to improve their service delivery, giving more to the people, providing a lot of facilities, a lot of services. And at the end of the day, everyone will have this pride and sense of belonging because they actually built this place. This is built by themselves, by the waste that they produce over time. And if you look back at this principal questions of waste, which we are producing every year, 1 million ton, this house, if we erected in this full scheme, in the scheme, it will save us at least 40,000 ton of plastic material. So that is actually huge. I mean, this small project underneath a highway is already 4% of our total plastic waste. And 12 rumah, or 12 houses, is more than 12 physical houses. It's a new lease of life, both to the plastic that we use and the space underneath the highway. And it is redemption of BORR and also mankind. So act now, because we don't have much time. Plastic wastes are still flooding in, and we need everyone to be part of the project. With that, my name is Qhawarizmi no Hisham. I thank you for listening. This is QWA Unfolding Narrative. Take care.